Welcome to April 1st. This is the first meeting, and we have speakers now, so I'll try not to yell. I've been yelling the last few meetings here. This is our first meeting for the month of April. Thank you all for coming out. We will start this meeting, as we always do, by standing for our prayer for NCH City Council and then the Pledge of Allegiance. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to do the very best we can with your help and guidance. We pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, again, welcome. Thanks for coming out. If you want to sign in to address council, Mr. Hedger, did you move the sign-in sheet?
Yeah, I have it.
So he has it back there if you want to sign in and address us, and we will get to our public participation later in the meeting. All right, Mr. Hedger, please call the roll when you're ready.
Ms. Orb,
Here.
Mr. Walton,
Here.
Ms. Dukestein, Ms. Alexander,
Here.
Ms. Brenner,
Present.
Mr. Davis, Ms. Underwood.
All right, I did hear from Ms. Dukestein and Ms. Underwood that they would not be at our meeting this evening.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald.
I move to accept their absence. I don't know how you want us to handle Brandon.
It's your pleasure.
I move to accept the absence of Miss Alexander. No, she's here. Miss Underwood and Miss Dukestein.
Mr. President, I'll second.
Ms. Zorb. Motion by Ms. DeWald, second by Ms. Zorb to excuse Ms. Dukestein, Ms. Underwood for this evening's meeting. Discussion? Mr. Hedger, please call the roll.
Ms. Orb,
Yes.
Mr. Walton,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Brenner.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. All right, we have tonight's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Dewald to accept tonight's agenda as presented. Any discussion? Mr. Hedger, please call the roll.
Ms. Orb,
Yes.
Mr. Walton,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Brenner.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
All right, we have the meeting minutes from the regular council meeting held on 3/18 and the special council meeting held on 3/20.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald.
I move to accept both those minutes.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
second.
Motion by Ms. Dewald, second by Ms. Zorb to accept the minutes from the 3/18 and 3/20 meetings. Any discussion? Mr. Hedger, please call the roll.
Ms. Orb,
Yes.
Mr. Walton,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Brenner.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. Next up is communication. Do you have any communication this evening, Mr. Hedger?
No, Mr. President.
Do you remember, what's the date for the financial, it's in May, right? Our financial disclosure statements?
15?
Is it May 15th?
Yes.
If-
It's 15.
Okay, but everybody seems to agree. Just a reminder to everyone that those are due if you have not done those yet.
Mine's done.
All right, next up on the agenda is council committees, starting with City Community Development and Recreation.
We have not had a meeting yet for City Community Development and Recreation. Our next meeting will be April 8th, 6:30 p.m. at the Senior Center. But I did have a Re-Thrive meeting on March the 25th at 3:30 at the Senior Center about childcare, a relaunch. And Re-Thrive 2024 childcare relaunch. They will be having a free initiative that help child care centers and in-home child care providers identify and implement strategies related to nutrition, physical activity, farm to table, breastfeeding, infant feeding, and screen time. And on these flyers are who is eligible and the benefits. And I will be around to the North College Hill daycares, to provide these flyers, and I can't go outside of North College Hill only if a person has children in North College Hill that attend those daycares. And we also talked about grants to implement temporary traffic calming projects for North College Hill. Ms. DeWald is the chairperson of public safety, so I'm gonna pass this information on to her because she's the chair, and I'm gonna give her more information on that. And that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Brunner. Next up is Budget and Finance. Ms. Dukestein is not here. Who is is it you?
Mr. President, Budget and Finance has not met yet this month, but we will meet on 4/8 at 7:30 following Ms. Brunner's meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Orb.
You bet.
Next is Rules and Public Policy. That's Ms. Underwood, correct? Go ahead, Ms. Orb.
Mr. President, I am not prepared to give an update. I apologize. I took minutes. Did I? I'm sorry. I did not bring paperwork.
Okay.
Forgive me.
The next meeting is the 20.
Mr. President,
Madam Mayor.
22nd.
I do recall some of the issues that they discussed during their meeting. I know they did discuss their council rules. They discussed how to engage and get additional participation from the citizens. There was also, you guys discussed another, you pointed over.
Ms. Orb.
Something just came to mind. We also discussed, in the name of transparency, from a couple of residents asked if we could post legislation while it's still in the pending state. I worked with Ms. Clear and Mr. Hedger, and that is already up and running. It is already a new spot on the website, and I believe we have legislation tonight to solidify that process.
Okay, thank you. And Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our last meeting, we had introduced the 3 department heads, all with very informative reports. We heard from Chief Cheney. We heard from Dave Huffman from Public Works. Fire Department was unable to attend, but they did send in a report. And then we also discussed at the very end the continuing conversation about speed humps, and I believe that's where Ms. Brunner might have picked up that baton and ran with it. Next meeting is April 22nd.
All right, thank you. That brings us to ad hoc reports. Does anyone have an ad hoc committee report this evening?
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald?
Normally, I report on the OKI. Life changes things dramatically. So I'm going to have to bow out of OKI, and we'll need a representative to fill that spot.
When does OKI normally meet?
The third Thursday, I'm thinking it was the third Thursday of every month, but you only have to make 4 meetings a year.
Mr. President,
Ms. Alexander?
what is OKI?
Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, it talks about all the infrastructure that's being done in the cities. The last time we met, they talked about bridges, the progress of the bridges being repaired, and ones are coming up next. If you go to every meeting, there's not going to be something there for that person at every meeting. But if you go to the every 4, and the person you can contact, she'll let you know when you need to be there or when anybody needs to be there. And you can discuss more local things rather than statewide,
And where are the meetings held at?
downtown.
Mr. President,
Ms. Ord?
might I also point out, I believe those meetings are during the day.
Yes, they are during the day,
Okay,
and therein lies my problem.
thank you.
Okay, so we'll work on getting our rep for OKI. Any other ad hoc reports this evening? Hearing none, we'll move to the administrative reports. Good evening, Madam Mayor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I won't be long. I did have a conversation with Ms. Colleen Ellis about the senior center, and we are trying to get more seniors involved. Since it closed, we've seen a dwindle of the seniors who come out, and she wants to try to get them more involved in coming back. So the seniors are here every Monday and Wednesday from 9 until 11. I will say it again, the seniors have actually challenged council to a volleyball tournament, the chair volleyball. So they asked me again, so if you want to sign up so we can let them know. Additionally, we have hired a finance manager. Her name is Ms. Janetta Anderson. We also have added a clerk to the finance department. Her name is Erin Marie Schwartz. And they actually started last Monday, and they got in there and they're working really hard. I do also have a meeting planned with our Public Works Director. We want to try to get something done with those islands which have become an eyesore right there on Hamilton, and to see what we can do with the ones on Galbraith. I see Ms. Brooks is here. Ms. Brooks, is your Planning Commission meeting this week, or is it next week? Is this Wednesday at 4:45 here? And that's all I have. I'm sorry. Erin Marie Schwartz.
All right, anyone have any questions for the mayor? All right, we'll move
Mr.
on.
President,
Ms. Bennett?
Madam Mayor, what time is that volleyball thing? I forgot about all about
You know,
that.
they've been practicing for quite some time. So they're typically here. I didn't know that they weren't playing games. So when I came in, they said, no, it's just been practice. Every time I see them, they say, when are y'all coming? So, Ms. Ellis.
They do have a competition schedule, so I can provide that to Mayor, and then we can try to figure out a date, because they're very anxious.
Competition,
Okay.
that sounds scary.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald?
I've been invited to watch some of those volleyball chair games, and it is a very serious sport for them. If I show up, I'm going to have on a big helmet, and a face mask, and yeah, because they're good. They mean business.
All right, next item on the agenda,
I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Ms. Zorb.
How many council members do we need for a team?
6.
Oh.
Maybe a couple of alternates. There's only that.
We need some ringers.
I think they will take any city representation.
I believe Dave from Public Works said he would be down.
He's back here, so.
Sitting in the back row.
It's back there.
Wow. Will you be our coach?
Want them to play.
All right, next item on the agenda is the city administrator's report. We do not have a city administrator at this time, so we'll move to the law director's report.
Mr. President, I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the law director? All right, then we have the finance director's report. As you heard, we have a finance director who started last Monday, but not ready to do a report yet. So we'll move to call of members, starting with Ms. Zorb.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Dewald?
Well, I was going to bring up the Ohio Ethics Commission that needs to be in by May, but you did that for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Alexander?
I'm just ready to get down to business. I know it's been a lot of things going on. I'm just saying that I'm been ready, and I'm still ready to do the work. You know, no excuses. Let's just do it. Also be mindful of the eclipse on Monday. Don't look up in the sky. But not without your glasses, but I'm here to work. Let's do it.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. And finally, Ms. Brunner?
Oh, I had the eclipse on my agenda as well. Just be careful, wear protective glasses, and be mindful of your pets also. Be mindful of the pets. Might be a good decision to keep them in the house for a little while till it pass over. I think it only lasts for like several minutes. And I just want to thank all the volunteers that signed up for Cleanup Day and Arbor Day, April the 27th. It's going to be big and it's going to be nice. And if anybody hadn't signed up yet, you are more than welcome to sign up. And let's keep North College Hill beautiful. You are North College Hill.
Thank you, Ms. Brunner. All right, that'll bring us to remarks from the audience. So if you have signed in, Mr. Hedger will call your name. When you step to the lectern, please adjust the microphone. Please give your name, your address, and you will have 3 minutes to address council. So, Mr. Hedger, when you're ready.
Tracy Wright.
Good evening. My name is Tracy
Good
Wright,
evening.
7017 Clover Knoll Drive. I just want to know what's going on in the city. Every time we come to a meeting, you all say that we can't discuss anything, and then the next day, everything is all over the news with all the questions that we asked in the meetings. Is that going to change going forward? Or I see you all have stuff now, maybe. Are we going to get answers at meetings now, or do we just have to wait and get everything off the local news? That's my biggest thing. Oh, and then also, I have a blighted house on my street that I want to talk to somebody about. Do I do that now? 1547 Clover Knoll. I called about that place all last year. I don't know if they're still living in there. They have vines growing up, going through the windows. I called, who is our code enforcer now? Do we even have one?
Doug Eikens.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, okay, that's a whole nother story. Can never get in touch with him. I always get a voicemail. I don't even think his name is on the voicemail. So I just want that. That is the first house on Clover Knoll. I've been there 24 years. I get tired when I pull down my street that the first thing I see is trash. It's disgusting. And the people are still living there. He's never said anything to them, never. I sent numerous emails to Doug. I've called Doug over and over and over. I figured he didn't even work for us anymore. I don't know who's working in code enforcement. It's hard to find out. So if we could get that stuff addressed.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dewald.
Ms. Wright, I completely understand, and we are in that division very understaffed. It's not an excuse, it's just the fact. That's something we've been working on, but of course, with no progression because of all the other little fires that we're putting out. But I appreciate you coming up, because in my neighborhood too, we have the same folks that all the time, their yard is a mess, there's garbage, you can't get past their front door.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they might get a knock on the door, but then they don't care.
Yeah, I don't even think he's knocking, though. I mean, nothing's being done. It's disgusting.
Please bear with us through this, because
I bared
this
for
is.
I bared for a year, though.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Good for you.
I'm saying, how much more do I have to bear?
I can't predict the future, but
Yeah.
I want to hold your hand through this journey because it's awful.
Well, maybe if you all start sending out, fining him, I don't know what you all do is, start, citations, telling them to clean it up, start imposing fines on the property against them liens. I don't know. Something needs to be done. I keep my property up, and so everybody else should have to.
Mr. President,
Ms. Brunner?
I totally agree. Is this house across from Huntington Bank?
Yep.
I seen a guy leaving there, and he sped off. I was trying to get his attention because I noticed that house also, and I finally seen somebody in the driveway, and I was like, "Excuse me," he just and he just took off. Have you seen this man also coming over
He's been
there?
there forever.
Is he the owner, or do he live there?
As far as I know, he's still the person the owner is the person that lives there.
And somebody lives there.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I know, it's hard to
didn't
believe.
I didn't think anybody lived there.
It's hard to believe. Unless they just recently moved out, they're still in there,
Okay.
as far as I know. Now, I haven't seen a car lately in the driveway, because it was one broke down in the driveway that had been sitting there forever, too. So I don't know.
I even Googled it to see who owned it
Scott Baker.
after and this was like a couple of days ago, because I just noticed they put an object outside in the
In the driveway.
driveway or something. Okay. Okay, so I've been kind of looking into it and
Okay.
seeing
Yeah,
what's
I've
going
been
on in
looking
the last
into
couple
it.
of days, but apparently it's done got worse. Okay.
It's just disgusting. And like I say, it's the first thing you see on the street. I've lived there for 24
I
years.
agree.
I took pride in my street. I still take pride in my street because I've always felt like Coverno was one of the nicer streets in the neighborhood. But not anymore. Not on that first end of Cloverno. It is going down. That house and then the other two that Vinebrook owns, they don't keep up their property. It's just a mess up there. It's a
Mr.
mess.
President? Mr. President?
Ms. Alexander, did you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Alexander, go first.
I wanted to ask the mayor, is there some way we can, push this forward? Somebody that, I can personally contact, or do we have a number
As far as
getting someone to
Our key-
go there and to find them, to get the process rolling? Because it sounds like the process hasn't started yet.
hasn't started, I can personally reach out to Mr. Ikens. I had another situation on Foxwood,
Okay.
and when I talked to him, he automatically went over there. Sometimes the issue is the neighbor next door, so I'm gonna say it publicly, they have to give permission for him, like, to go into their yard. So if he can't get in the yard to assess everything,
Oh, you can see it all.
you can.
See it all.
You can. As soon as she said it, I knew exactly which home
Exactly.
she was referring to.
He can
And for
stand
the
across
longest,
the
I
street to
didn't
Huntington
think,
Bank and see it all.
I didn't think anyone lived there either. And I actually met the gentleman once. And it made me pay attention to the house. And I'm like, is he never there? I never see his car in the driveway. I think he started parking on the street, but I can,
We have a name now, Scott Baker. Well, I'm saying it all out loud, but.
Scott Baker. I'll say it. I don't care.
Okay.
Mr. President?
Ms. Dewald?
Before Ms. Alexander stepped in, I was going to offer, I can meet with our police chief, start from there. Doug Ikens actually works for the fire department,
Okay.
but I want to find out what I can get from him first before I move forward. At this point in time, and this has been a thorn in my side for years.
Mine too.
And it, like you said, nothing's getting finished. So let me have a meeting with him, and we'll
Okay.
move forward from there.
Not ready.
Mr. President,
Madam Mayor?
also our interim fire chief is here as well, who Mr. Ikens actually reports to. So
Okay.
he's aware, so I'm sure
I
he
did
can have.
not see him
yeah.
here, I'm sorry.
He can have a conversation with him.
I'll
as
have a
well.
conversation with both of them. How's that? I'm sorry, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. Mr. Hedger?
Oh, I wanted to.
Next, we have Kathy Curtin.
Good evening, administration, council, fellow neighbors. It's been a very busy month of March. Quite embarrassing, to be honest, for our city. But we're here. Now we
Ms.
must move
Curitan,
forward.
can you start with your name and your address,
Oh,
please?
I do apologize. Kathy Curitan, 6718 Devonwood Drive.
Thank you.
It's been just a very embarrassing time for our city, but again, we must move forward. And I just want to echo Ms. Wright's sentiments of we are tired of finding out everything that's happening in our city from 5, 9, 12, and 19. That's not fair. It's not fair. And I hope that going forward, we put parameters in place that doesn't happen. I believe a lot of the frustration, it is because we're hearing from a third party, whether it's legitimate or not. It's kind of embarrassing. So I do have some questions, and I first would respectfully ask that if I do go over 3 minutes, I didn't see anything in the charter specifically that states the public commentary is limited to 3 minutes. So if I do go over, I will ask that our mayor, administration, and council will understand. 3/18 was a very trying time at the high school, and there were a lot of questions asked. In fact, at the beginning of that meeting, it was said, we're not going to answer any questions today. I respect that. A few did get answered, but here we are, 2 weeks later. And I first want to find out, did anyone scribe any of those questions to maybe answer them tonight? You can simply offer a yes or a no. I will take the silence as a no.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there were questions asked on 3/18, a ton of them. And if we don't have an answer to that, then that's, again, super problematic for our administration, our council, and our city. I don't want to put Mr. Davis on the spot, but he is an elected official. And I would ask that, I don't know if that would be, we don't have a city administrator, but his absence is definitely missed on this evening. I would just say that maybe we can, whomever, would just maybe offer some suggestions or advice, since this is his first term, and just a gentle reminder to let him know he is an elected official, and his attendance is, I don't know if it's even required, but it is requested at these meetings, especially citizens who've come out to see council and get questions answered. So we don't have a city administrator. I am excited to hear that we have hired a finance manager and a finance clerk. That's amazing. However, I'm wondering, in the past 4 to 5 years, we've had four people who've actually filled those roles. That's a lot. It's a super high turnover. So in consideration of the hirings, I'm wondering if we can potentially have some kind of resume, CV, something that will allow them to not just come and have a seat at the table, but we'll really know, like, who are you? Are you honestly qualified for this role? Are you really going to put North College Hill as a priority? Or are you just here for a paycheck? And again, if you have an answer to any of my questions, please, I would ask that you would respond. Do we have a status on the hiring of our interim chiefs? Chief Plackey representing fire and Chief Cheney for police? Do we have a status on Brian Fells? Do we have a status on Jennifer Eakey? And do we have a status on when council is going to vote on her super lucrative severance package? Or let's say separation package. From my understanding, council has not voted on her separation agreement. Can someone confirm or deny that?
Mr. President?
Ms. Orr.
Ms. Curitan, I think I had originally told you that council did have to vote on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure I gave you accurate information.
Mm-hmm.
After I've checked into it further, I don't think council does have to agree to that.
You're correct, because nothing states in the charter that it has to be a 5-2 or I think 8, whatever the vote is. So here we are, taxpayers of North College Hill, paying Ms. Icky, who was here for 1 year, who caused a major disruption, whether you are pro or against it, and now we're paying her a 9-month vacation without asking council for their input. Mr. Dieters, were you a part of that agreement with Ms. Icky?
I'm not permitted to answer those questions. It'd be attorney-client privilege, sorry.
Okay, so that information is public record, sir.
No, I'm the city's attorney. I'm not permitted to answer that question because it would be a violation of an attorney-client privilege.
Sir, this information is public record. Her separation agreement is public record, sir.
That is correct.
Okay, so
Whatever's public's
that means if you represented her or the city or
I do not
both.
represent Ms. Icky. I represent the city.
Okay. So can anyone clarify, administration or council, who agreed on that separation agreement with her? Who were the parties in the room that said, Ms. Icky, thank you, I'm going to give you $120,000. Have a good day. 140, whatever. Can anyone please, don't silence me. Don't give me, I'm a very approachable person. Please do not do that tonight.
Mr. President,
We deserve an answer.
Ms. Orr.
I can't speak for all of council because I just don't know. I can tell you I was not in the room.
Mr. President,
Madam Mayor.
Ms. Curitan,
Yes, ma'am.
I was not in the room either, but that was something that was discussed between our attorney and her attorney.
Thank you. So now we have, okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. So now we have the exit of the entire council. We have our mayor who was not present. We have Ms. Icky and her attorney, AKA fiance husband. And then we have our city attorney, all in the room. When and again, this is not to throw stones at anyone, but in 2017, I'm a very matter-of-fact person. If you don't know that about me yet, you will. In 2017, City Council had a vote of no confidence for our current law director. And he was in the room with Ms. Icky and her attorney. So I'm just gonna leave you with that. That's super problematic. And in fact, this is not to throw stones. This is just to make sure we are aware. In 2017, or I wanna say 11, 12, there was something. You live in North College Hill? You live in North College Hill? You live in North College Hill? Our mayor lives in North College Hill? Our law director does not. Our charter was changed to accommodate. And so here we are. All of us are gonna be paying Ms. Icky for the next 9 months. That's not fair.
Ms. Curitan,
Yes, sir.
can I interject for a second here?
Yes, sir.
It is in council rules. It is Rule 2.4D that says that you have 3 minutes to address council. So that is in council rules 2.4D.
I apologize, sir.
But
I
no apologies. So if you could just go ahead and
Sure.
wrap this up
Absolutely.
quickly, please.
Absolutely. And again, sir, if you can just understand, we're not getting answers. I feel like Mondays is the only time I can really talk to you all and really get direct answers, so that's why I'm present. So in addition, we've talked about the separation agreement. We've talked about the status. I would ask that, Madam Mayor, it seems as if Chief Cheney is doing a good job. It seems as if, I don't know if there's any fire present in the room. It seems as if Plackey, I don't know if the relationship on fire is, but when you have good talent, just let's make sure we hold on to it. Let's make sure that if we got them, let's not make them sit on ice for too long if they're doing a good job. And lastly, two parts. One, who is specifically in charge of both the police and fire? I'm looking at you, but I'm speaking to everyone. The fire and police investigations.
The investigation.
Yes, ma'am.
That we're having.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can't tell us who's in charge of the...
No, we could tell you, we just don't have anyone. We've had multiple people decline the request to do it, so we're still in the process of negotiating with someone. So until they actually approve, I can't tell you that there's anybody at this point.
So does that mean there is not an open investigation for police or for fire as of today?
Mr.
There's-
President,
Madam Mayor.
we've been collecting, there's been a lot of evidence
I
that's been
understand.
coming in.
I
And so
understand.
we've talked to multiple people. We had one who we thought
Mm-hmm.
she was associated with a particular firm, and
Yes, ma'am.
they
I
could
understand.
not. And so as of, what's today, Monday? Thursday is when we were able to find another one.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has all the documentation, and hopefully she can start today.
Okay, so again, that is something that could have been, maybe couldn't have.
Well,
I think
I
the
mean, I
important
think-
thing, the important thing is that we do it right, not quick.
Absolutely.
So we need to
Absolutely.
find,
But there's a reason that they're declining. You know that, right?
it's because of the media attention. They don't want their name
Absolutely.
dragged through the mud in media.
Absolutely.
People here coming, using their name, and then getting it out everywhere, and then
Yeah,
being
sure. Sure.
targeted. That's exactly why.
And
That's the reason.
let me also say this in closing. If we're going to let Mr. Fields go, have we officially let him go?
No.
No. I don't believe it's fair to Mr. Fields and his family, or Mr. Plackey and his family, that you kind of dangle them both in the air. If we're going to let him go and live his life and do what he wants. And if we're going to hold on to Mr. Plackey, Interim Chief Plackey, let's hold on to him. But there's so much we don't know. We need to grab what we have. We look so silly. When I tell people I live in North College Hill, they say, ha, 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 because of what has happened the entire month of March. My goodness.
Mr. President,
Ms. Nichols.
Ms. Carrington,
Yes, ma'am.
some of that is a personnel issue. So some of that cannot be discussed in this open forum.
ma'am, I
There's been
understand.
multiple conversations with Mr. Fales. Actually, I spoke with him on Friday.
I understand.
Some of that just cannot be released or spoken about publicly
I
just
do
because of
understand.
where we are
I do
with this
understand.
situation.
I do
And Mr.
understand.
Plackey is, I'm sure, aware.
Sure,
So
sure.
there's no dangle between there. This is just something
Sure.
that can't be discussed openly.
And just lastly, I will ask that today is April 1st, and on March 18th, we asked council to communicate with us. I will say Mary Jo Zorp has. I will say Marshala, am I pronouncing it correctly? Mashallah Alexander has. I will say Donna Bruner has. I will say Erica Underwood has. But they are not all of council, and I'm not speaking down on anyone. I am just saying, as a united front, we are asking, we are not demanding because everyone is an adult, but we're asking that you all put something in place immediately to communicate with the constituents, because it's not fair at all that we only get our information cascaded through 5, 9, 12, and 19. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cureton. Mr. Hedger.
We have Catherine Schmidt.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Catherine Schmidt, and my address is 1510 Oak Knoll Drive. The Cathys, I think, are on the same wavelength tonight. I go by Kathy as well. I came here specifically tonight to ask questions about the separation agreement between the city and Ms. Ike. I was not aware that she had an employment contract. I learned of that last Monday evening. I've read the employment contract, and I don't read that as a document that would require the city to pay her the remainder of this calendar year, given that she resigned her commission or her position. The employment agreement talks about if she is removed without cause, then severance would be appropriate. In my experience with many years in business, when you resign a position, you do so to save face, to not be fired, to have references in the future, but you don't typically get severance pay when you resign a position. So I would like to just understand more about what the authority is, what gives Mr. Dieters the authority to enter into that agreement with Ms. Ike on behalf of the city without any other input or, an opportunity to question it without council having a vote in that agreement.
Mr. President, I just want to say something, and I know everyone has lots of questions, and part of that process is that many of these are personnel matters, and many of these are issues that are potential pending litigation issues. So what we can say and not say at any given time can be very much dependent on where that is. I do not have the authority to enter into that agreement. The only person that has the authority to sign that agreement is the mayor. And you are correct. If we were just buying out the contract as her contract indicated, it would not include what you have. It would include a $110,000 purchase. There are other things at play here that are very important to avoid embroiling the city in litigation and spending 10 times that amount that is currently part of the severance if we got involved in litigation. Not to mention that every single person in this room would probably be deposed for 8 to 10, 12 hours at a time, including myself and everyone else here, including many fire department people. I said at the evening, I know some people aren't happy with what I said. I have NCH on my chest. I'm Team North College Hill. I believe in North College Hill. I have a strong investment in this town. I probably spend more time in this town than some people who live here because I work here every day. But let me explain something to you. There are other things involved with this that have not been told and said and can't be at this time. There will probably be a time at some point when everything is resolved that those things can be said. But what you are hearing from one side of the story is not completely accurate. Most of us are adults in this room, and we know there's one side and there's another side and there's always the middle, and 99% of the time the truth is in the middle. It's not from the sides that are advocating one side or the other. I don't have a dog in the fight. I've never had a dog in the fight. All I've tried to do the whole time is resolve this in a way that with grace, amicability, and sense. And I said it the night at the school, you need to be patient. You need to let us work through this. We're doing things in the best interest of the city. That's our goal. And it isn't always in the best interest of a particular person or an employee. It's the interest of the city. That's the most important thing. And I know it's frustrating. I get it. I understand. You just got to be patient and let some of these things work themselves out. It'll work itself out. I will tell you, I fully support that agreement that the mayor signed. We would be involved in litigation in this case from both sides for years. And by the time we paid attorney's fees, we would have spent 10 times what we paid. And I do disagree with you. CEOs of companies resign all the time with buyouts because
This
their
isn't a
boards.
company.
No, but their boards are not happy with what they're doing, and it's cheaper to involve a payout than it is to get involved in litigation. And that's what we're involved with here. There are many, many facets to this, and you don't know it all, and I understand, and I wish you did. I'd love to tell you. But if you knew this whole story behind this whole thing, you would understand that what we're doing is in the best interest of the city. It
Well,
truly is.
I don't accept that, and
I
I
know.
have a problem
I'm sorry.
with it. There are real impacts to what the city is going through. I'm sure that many of you have gotten emails saying your home value has gone up this amount or this amount. I got one the other day saying that my home value has decreased by $3,500. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not proud to say that I live in the city of North College Hill, given the kind of press that we've gotten recently. I don't feel that there is an appropriate level of transparency for what has gone on. This is the first council meeting that I've attended, so I wasn't at the March 18th meeting to know what questions were asked. But apparently no one has even scribed those and made an attempt to get answers. So in government, it has gone on for too long where we can't tell you this is a personnel issue, this is this, or this is that. There's no place for that in government. There have to be some answers given to the citizens. I worked too hard for my money to feel comfortable paying Ms. Icky $77,500 of unearned wages between now and the end of December. So is there an opportunity for this to be escalated to someone outside of the city to have that employment contract the facts of all of the back and forth and the personnel matters. If you say that you can't tell private citizens, that's one thing. Does the Ohio Ethics Commission need to be involved? Who can be involved to look at the facts of this case and confirm that this agreement is in the best interest of the citizens of North College Hill?
I don't know how to answer that question. I can tell you that my job and my duty as an attorney in the state of Ohio is to protect my client's interest and liability. And you sometimes have to make decisions that provide guaranteed results for dollars that you can identify and agree on. If we proceeded along the lines of what you're saying, we probably would have had litigation from multiple employees pointing fingers at each other. We would have been involved in litigation likely for years. It probably would have been in federal court. And if we would have lost the case, one aspect of the case, just one little facet, we could win. There could be 100 claims. And if the employee prevails on one of those 100 claims, they have the right to collect attorney's fees. And if you want, and then would we be covered from insurance or not? That depends. There are actions that were done by all sides of this that would have been potentially problematic.
Then lay it out lay out what you can and let people make a decision
that will
whether
happen.
or not they want that to go forward, instead of you just getting into a closed room
I don't
with
think-
other attorneys and making that decision
I'm not
on
in a
our
closed
behalf.
room. That wasn't the way it happened. And there were discussions between me and the mayor as that happened. And there was a decision made that the alternative of not getting an agreement was worse than getting an agreement. And sometimes you have to make tough decisions in this business, and that's the way it is. Now, the other hand would have been, one of the reasons why some of these things are done is to protect the integrity of employees. Not everything you've heard about this case is true. And if all of it got out, it would harm both sides, individually as persons, not as employees or people that you as taxpayers pay. So there needs to be some decor of understanding that it's a personnel matter.
Then someone above you needs to be involved in that.
I would welcome you file a complaint with the Ohio Ethics Commission and let them come in, because I think I'm more than happy to have anybody look at it.
Okay.
Because I'm certain that they will find the same thing that we found.
Okay. I think my time's probably up.
It is. Thank you, Ms. Schmidt.
Thank you.
You have an Ed Von Lee Maiden.
Ed Von Linden, 1615 Market Street. I was here on the 18th. I still have a lot of questions. A lot of them have been answered, but specifically some to Mr. Dieters as well. Has this agreement been fully executed as of today? No. So there's still opportunity to look at it. Who drafted it? So apparently Mr. Dieters drafted it. Mayor is the only person that has to approve it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So one thing I found very disturbing was that March 8th, we had 15 professionals on the fire department file poor performance and hostile actions against the city manager. And within 8 days, there was, quote, ample time of parties to adequately make whatever investigation or inquiries they deem necessary for a desirable connection with the subject matter. So within 1 day of them sending a letter, it was okay to publicly go out and attack the fire chief and put him on leave. And he's still on leave as far as we know. But within 8 days, we can completely wipe away the immunity of an individual who was only here for 14 months. Again, Mr. Fells was a resident. He grew up in North College Hill, graduated. He was on the fire department 25 years, appointed to fire chief in 2008. There was no issues with the fire department. It was going great. And we're giving a severance package to somebody who's been here 14 months of 8.5 months of pay, or vacation as the lady mentioned, 1,000 hours of sick and vacation that was not earned in North College Hill. Again, the last meeting I mentioned that there was comments this was a minor issue and that the fire department left down. I simply asked for an apology to the fire department. Chief Fells and their family. But my question is, if we're worried about all this litigation and we're willing to pay out $130,000, $140,000 to an individual who caused such severe stress, is this same separation agreement available to Chief Fells? Because I believe fire chief for 15 years for what he's done for this department, as I mentioned last year with ALS service, full-time, Quint. He's been dragged through the mud, and it ain't right. And I would also ask, the negotiation was between the city attorney and her attorney. How long have you known Miss Icky, Mr. Dieters?
I've probably known her for 15 years, but I haven't worked with her for probably the last 10 years.
So you have worked with her in the past, and you've known her for over 15 years. I would find that a conflict of interest, in my personal opinion.
You should be really careful saying those things in public.
Mr. Hedger?
There are no further sign-ins.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your participation tonight, folks. All right, we will move to legislation. When you're ready, Mr. Hedger.
Third reading, resolution number 4, 2024, a resolution dispensing with statutory bidding procedures due to conditions of urgent necessity related to the repairs of a roof leak.
Mr. President,
Ms. Orr?
I'd like to point out that this, in section 3, it refers to Exhibit A. I don't know that council has Exhibit A. And I asked Mr. Hedger about it because I also didn't see it on the website, and he said that he does not have a copy of Exhibit A.
You said section 3?
Yes, sir.
I don't have Exhibit A with me at this time.
You have seen it?
I did see quotes in an email. Ms. Nichols, was there 2 quotes
I'm trying.
at that point?
I'm
I
sorry.
apologize, I don't have my laptop.
I'm trying to find the email.
I do remember that quote was the lower of the 2. I thought that got forwarded on to council. If it didn't, then that's my fault.
So the other thing, I because in the absence of Exhibit A, I went on the Ohio State, I forget what the exact website is, something to do with the state of Ohio businesses. And I looked up this particular company that's mentioned also in section 3, and it looks like they're a solar company, not a roofing company. Everything that I could find, they look like they're a solar company. I looked at every page of their website. So I'm not, I know I've asked questions about this every time we talk about this particular piece of legislation, so I apologize.
Mr. President, I
Mr.
just want
Dieters.
to make clear, I think there's been some confusion about this. All this does is basically forfeit the requirement that you have to go through the public bidding process. This does not enter into a contract. So this is just allowing us to proceed without going through the public bidding process to get the roof fixed quicker, because it needs to be fixed because it's obviously leaking. Chief Fells contacted us. We put a document together. I assume that the fire department has that particular quote because they're the persons that inspected it. I don't know if Mr. Plackey here has any more information about it, but this does not enter into a contract. It's just eliminates the requirement to go through the bidding process. We still have to enter into a contract with them.
Mr. President,
Madam Mayor?
I'm forwarding the email to Mr. Hedger, but it appears as though it has just pictures in the document that I have. The pictures of the roof and the leak.
Was that the exhibit? The exhibit was the.
Let me see if this one.
Trying to read your mind.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody heard. I asked Mr. Plackey. I don't even think we have quotes yet. All this is done to allow us to go out and get quotes. We'll get 3 or 4 quotes, and then once that we have that, we'll bring it back to council and enter into a contract. That's all this is doing, allowing us to get quotes instead of publicly bidding.
Okay, does that satisfy you, Ms. Orb?
Yes.
Okay, we have a third reading. Need a motion.
Mr. President,
Ms. Orb?
I'd like to make a motion, we adopt Resolution 4, 2024, version 3.0. I believe there's several versions out there also.
Need a second?
Mr. President,
Ms. Alexander?
I'll second that we adopt.
All right, motion on the floor to adopt Resolution 4, 2024 by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. Alexander. Any additional discussion? Mr. Hedger, please call the roll.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes?
Mr. Wong,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Brunner.
Yes.
Motion passed 4-0.
Thank you. Next item of legislation, please.
First reading resolution number 5, 2024, resolution to authorize the clerk of council to post pending legislation on the website on or before the date of the first reading.
Mr. President,
Ms. Orb?
taking into consideration that we have already begun this process, unless anyone on council has a problem with it, I'd like to make a motion that we suspend.
We cannot suspend tonight.
Oh, we don't have.
We
You're
don't
right.
have enough
Sorry.
people.
Sorry.
All right, next item, please.
First reading ordinance number 1, 2024, an ordinance to create a special revenue fund to deposit emergency medical services billing revenue.
Mr. President,
Ms. Alexander?
can somebody explain exactly what that is?
Mr. President, I can do so if you want.
Mr.
me to.
Dieters, please.
Okay.
So the fire department bills individuals who use our ambulance services. They bill their insurance companies.
Okay.
And we get that, we receive those funds. We used to place them in a fund specifically for the purchase of equipment for the fire department because they're the ones that went ahead and collected the money. That was one of the issues that this whole thing arose.
That's what I was wondering, so
Right.
that's why I wanted some clarity.
Yeah, so I'll clarify it. So when that happened, when we had our audit and the processing part of the audit, we identified that we didn't have a special revenue fund to put that money into, so it had to go into the general fund. Everyone had thought sometime back in 2000 maybe that we had passed a piece of legislation to create that fund, but no one could locate it. What had happened at the time was that the previous city administrator just went ahead and moved that money. Did not necessarily communicate real well. There wasn't a lot of communication going back and forth between Mr. Fells and Mr. Nasiki. So now we want to get that money back into the fund. So we have to create the fund to be able to put that money into it so it can be utilized for fire equipment.
So this is the correct fund?
I hope so. Yes, I'm kidding, but yes, it is.
I want to know, that this is the correct fund.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Ms. Nichols?
I would ask the council as well, I don't know what the amendment would be, and even if it would be tonight, maybe at the next reading, I would like to see the monies that were moved from the time that they started it, move back, so we probably need to make some
No,
amendments.
we can move it back, Mayor, with that.
With this?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't see it in there, that's why.
Yeah,
I
we can
asked.
move it back because it's
Okay.
the fund's there.
And,
Yeah.
I did actually ask Ms. Dukes-Dean to put it on the agenda for the next budget and finance meeting for discussion.
I think, Mr. President, I mean, if you guys, I think the quicker you do it, the better. Because I think this is
Understand
one
that,
of the
but-
issues that is many of the
We
fire.
can't suspend readings tonight.
I know, just saying the quicker we do it, the better, because I think it's something
have
that the
enough
fire
people
department's
here.
looking at very closely.
Correct. Yeah, I want to get it done too. That's why it's on here, and I did put it to the budget and finance if there was additional discussion.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is further remarks from the audience as it pertains to these 3 items of legislation. If anyone would like to address council regarding legislation, please state your name, your address.
Sorry. Sandy Ficker, 6790 Richard Avenue. I was just wondering, after the building is repaired, after we get quotes and the building's repaired, is council going to move back in there, or what's that building going to be used for, or
Mr.
are we?
President.
Sorry?
The city center.
Ms. Zorb.
So, Ms. Ficker, if I can be clear, so this legislation is for the fire building.
Oh, it's for the fire
It's
building.
not for the Clovernook
Oh,
building.
okay, because I know that one had mold and
That
a
one
lot
has.
of other issues and
And
whatever.
to be honest,
Oh.
I don't think we've even put a whole lot of time
Okay.
into discussing that yet because we've had other priorities. So this legislation is not
Okay.
for the old Clovernook building
That
at
was
all.
it. Then my other questions aren't relevant.
Thank you, Ms.
They're
Ficker.
all important. Thank
Yes.
you. I
Thank
said they're
you.
all important. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
may I just point out one other thing that while everyone's here, I want to be
Yes, please.
as clear as I can. So while this piece of legislation is here to put the EMS billing into a special fund for the fire department, I don't know how to say this, the police, it would be similar to the police writing a ticket and that fine money going to a special fund for them. That does not happen for them today either. So we do run the risk of the police saying, we want all that revenue also. So I'm keeping in mind that every time we do that, that takes money out of the general fund that's used for other things. So there's repercussions to every decision, and all of that has to be weighed out by this council. I just want to throw it on the table. So the levy money is completely separate from EMS billing. Yes, there was levy money passed, and yes, all the levy money is going into the levy fund. Absolutely, 100%. You're very welcome.
I have a question for Mr. Dieters as soon as he's ready.
I'm sorry, I was talking to
No,
the
no,
chief.
you're fine.
Oh.
I just have a procedural question as Mr.
Yeah.
Davis has joined us. Do we need to do something to,
Just make sure the minutes reflect when he came into the meeting, that's
okay,
all.
do you have that, Mr. Hedger? Thank you. All right, next up is old business.
The charter, they have to do it.
Hearing no old business, we'll move to new business.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb?
hearing no new business, I would like to make a motion, we adjourn at 8:04 PM.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWald?
I'll second that.
Motion to adjourn at 8:04 by Ms. Zorb, second by Ms. DeWald. Any discussion? Mr. Hedger, when you're ready, please call the roll.
Ms. Zorb,
Yes.
Mr. Walden,
Yes.
Ms. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Brunner,
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.